Are you tired? Need a real break from the stresses of life? Jesus said we could find rest in Him. Jesus said, find rest. Take a load off. Good morning, and welcome to 755 Live. And you might notice the backgrounds are a little different this week. We're actually taking some rest, enjoying some time in Colorado with grandbabies. But for about 5 minutes this morning, you'll hear all about easy-to-remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest the Jesus way. Today's Jesus Said comes from Matthew 11:28 through 30, and we're going to be reading from the New English Translation, where Jesus said, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Take my yoke upon you and learn from me, because I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls. For my yoke is easy to bear, and my load is not hard to carry." Now, those are some great sounding words, but I have never known anyone to say, following Jesus is the easiest thing I've ever done. It almost seems like a contradiction here. Why isn't this easy? If Jesus said his yoke or his burden is easy to bear and not hard to carry, why does it sometimes seem so difficult? Well, what is a yoke? If you can imagine cattle or horses pulling a wagon, the yoke is that cross piece of wood that attaches the two animals together so that they can pull as a team. It's important to realize that Jesus didn't say your yoke would be easy. His yoke is. So when things seem hard, could it be that you're trying to do things on your own and not the Jesus way? The first step is come to Jesus. He said, "Come to me, and I will give you rest." Earlier in Matthew 11, Jesus rebuked the cities where he had taught and performed miracles, and yet they still didn't repent and follow him. He clearly let them know that they had chosen the path of destruction. It's in that context that Jesus gives this invitation to rest. Don't choose the hard path. Choose to follow me instead. And here is a newsflash. You can't follow Jesus without really following Jesus. The first step for the tired and burdened, come to him. But there are more steps. Let's read verse 29 from Matthew 11 again. "Take my yoke upon you," or on you, "and learn from me, because I am gentle and humble in heart, and you will find rest for your souls." Take his yoke and learn from Jesus. Learn what? Learn to be gentle, humble in heart. That's where the rest is. Now, the Jews in the first century were expert at so-called rest. They were experts at it. They called it Sabbath. And one day a week, they would do no work like God had commanded. And in fact, they added a lot of extra rules to it too. Sabbath had become a burden and a game of finger pointing and not really rest. And right after Jesus said this, the disciples ran into the extra rules of tradition about the Sabbath. In Matthew 12:1 and 2, about that time, Jesus was walking through some grain fields on the Sabbath, and his disciples who were hungry, so they began breaking off some heads of grain and eating them. But some Pharisees saw them do it and protested, "Look, your disciples are breaking the law by harvesting grain on the Sabbath." Now, if you read on here, Jesus went on to explain that it was the Pharisees' extra rules and judgment that was the problem, not what the disciples did. "Oh, but we aren't the Pharisees. We don't have all those extra Sabbath rules." Well, real rest isn't doing whatever we want. Rest is laying down our own works, our own will, to only do what Jesus said. Now, I don't have to keep the Sabbath as some kind of rule or principle to make me holy. And that's true in the sense of keeping the law as a form of righteousness. But if resting in Jesus as the Sabbath means doing whatever we want, whenever we want, we've missed the point. Adding to what Jesus said and trying to carry the load on our own. And if you don't take a Sabbath, your body will eventually take a Sabbath for you. That's why things get tough. because we try to carry things on our own. That's why we need to learn from Jesus. We need to learn humility and gentleness and what he said to do, to learn the Jesus way, because it is hard work trying to be God by ourselves. And when we do things our own way, that's exactly what we are trying to do. But Jesus said, find rest, take a load off. How can you put that into action today? Thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it would mean a lot to me if you like it, if you share it, if you comment. I really appreciate you. I hope that you have an amazing day, and I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest, the Jesus way. And remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.